her wake is undeniable. The disruption of lives, displacement, and in some cases, absolute desperation were palpable. But in the midst of despair, it is sport which can provide an escape. Hope can shine brightly even after the gloom of disaster has brought darkness. And that hope can be found in the teamwork, community, and camaraderie built through sport. ISA Schoolboy Football is aiming to lift the nation's student athletes and the wider Jamaica out of the perils they face after the storm. Even in times of struggle, the Jamaican spirit of resilience will continue to shine through sport.
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace? Search for a declaration?
Then download the Jamaica Customs mobile app today. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
12 p.m. Thanks for joining us for CVM News at Noon. It's December 3, 2025. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this afternoon, Member of Parliament for St. James West Central and former Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malahoo Fort, is doubling down on her call for a review of criminal libel laws. She is dismissing suggestions that her question raised in Parliament last week amounts to an assault on press freedom, arguing instead that Jamaica must confront the escalating security risks fueled by rapid technological advancement and the unchecked misuse of social media. She was speaking on CVM's Lead Story Prime on Tuesday.
I think what is clear is that the digital age has posed a lot of problems, in addition to bringing a lot of solutions. And we really have to find a way to regulate in a very difficult space. And that regulation can take any of many forms. I hear very clearly the concerns about reintroducing criminal libel, certainly in the form that it existed before. I know that concerns about suppressing freedoms is a real concern. When I raised the question, by no means was I saying let us roll back freedom of the press. I know that there are genuine concerns about how laws have been used in many jurisdictions to silence critics. And that is not where we want to go. Jamaica has enjoyed high freedom of the press. And there is nothing that I said that really should have caused the conversation to jump all the way down that road and to make assumptions that I was saying so, anything like that. Nor was I carrying any message.
Regional Operations Manager at the National Solid Waste Management Authority's Western Office, Jermaine Jones, is again appealing to the public to be mindful of proper separation of waste, especially since the passing of Hurricane Melissa disturbed the daily routine of garbage collection.
In some areas, we've experienced significant uptick in waste production. Areas that used to contain maybe 1 or 2 compactor loads are now going to 8. And we understand, because now is the time when persons would have suffered damages and they are producing more, they're buying food, etc. Now, one of the things that we encourage persons to do is to ensure that you separate the storm waste. So it means the tree cuttings, the zinc, the board, the bulky waste, etc., separated from the residential waste, because that makes it easier for our compactors to come in.
Now, Mr. Jones says the team from the NSWMA Western Office has also received additional compactor trucks to address the garbage collection issue. In the meantime, Member of Parliament for St. James East Central, Edmund Bartlett, is this afternoon rejecting complaints from residents in Lilliput who say the government has made no effort to clean up the community since Melissa. Residents have insisted that no major authorities have visited the area and that they've had to clear debris on their own. However, Mr. Bartlett is pushing back against those claims, saying cleanup operations have been underway and that government teams have been working across the constituency.
I'm amazed that anyone from the Lilliput community, or in fact the entire corridor, defined as the Elegant Corridor, which includes the communities from Greenwood all the way to Flanker, would say that the government has not done anything to ensure a level of sanitation and cleanliness within that area. Certainly the community that this gentleman actually lives in, and you will see the picture we show, it's almost as clean as a whistle now. It's over 80 truckloads of debris and solid waste that were removed from that community alone. A similar amount from Grange Pen, Lilliput, and Long Bay, and those areas. So we are doing our part in enabling the recovery and certainly the removal of the type of the garbage and other distractions that would inure to the unhealthiness of the community, and the state of discomfort of our constituents.
The passage of Hurricane Melissa has delivered a staggering blow to Jamaica's agricultural sector. Stakeholders at the RADA Recovery Forum detailed the sheer scale of devastation facing farmers and fishers. Here's Kevin Black with the details.
$77 million worth of infrastructure damage to the National Fisheries Authority's buildings.
The National Fisheries Authority, NFA, is reporting massive losses for the sector following Hurricane Melissa. The authority estimates the damage at over $2.74 billion. NFA Chief Executive Officer Dr. Gavin Bellamy highlighted the extent of the devastation, confirming the damage is widespread and will require significant resources for a full recovery.
As of 48 hours after the passing of Hurricane Melissa, the National Fisheries Authority teams went out to do rapid evaluations of what occurred, especially in the western parishes. We had about $2.74 billion worth of damage to the fisheries sector.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Agricultural Society is also detailing severe devastation. CEO Darren Grant reports that farmers in Western Jamaica suffered massive losses, with a significant number of coffee and coconut farmers having lost their entire livelihoods after the storm's passage.
Would have had reports of over 100,000 boxes of coffee that would have been lost. The coconut industry have also taken a beating as well. Somewhere in the $350 million. A wide cross-section of our membership are those small and micro farmers that predominantly are subsistent farmers in some aspect. We would have partnered with United Way, and I'll give more updates on that later, which will be implementing small grants to these farmers. We would also start our hurricane relief effort.
The CEO of Agro Investment Corporation, Vivian Scully, explained that Hurricane Melissa exposed critical infrastructure gaps across the agricultural sector. Scully affirmed the agency's commitment to restoring full irrigation functionality for all affected farmers as a top priority.
Across our AgroPark network, which comprises 10 agroparks and 15 production zones and over 12,000 acres, we suffered some amount of damage. Melissa struck the park pretty much at the peak of one of our production cycles. So what happens next? We're not just rebuilding pre-Melissa, we're moving to a stronger baseline, building back stronger. We want to restore full irrigation functionality, and we've had significant support from NIC in doing that. So despite the electricity challenges, they have mobilized generators to get the pumps going.
The road to recovery for Jamaica's critical food production sectors will clearly be long and costly. Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
With 64% of affected primary health facilities in Jamaica still working at a reduced capacity due to storm damage, UK Minister for the Caribbean Chris Elmore visited the Santa Cruz Health Centre as part of his official engagements to Jamaica. The facility is one of Jamaica's smart health centres, upgraded with UK funding through the PAHO WHO Smart Hospitals Initiative, enabling it to remain operational during major disasters. Now, during his tour, Minister Elmore described a range of support from the UK government to help bolster climate resilience.
So we were able to invest £7.5 million in immediate response. We've been working before that on funding for resilience for things like this hospital, so actually making sure it can survive hurricanes, and then equally been working over a very long period on work around insurance. So when events like Hurricane Melissa take place, we've been able to make sure that funding is accessed to insurance. And then other things around medics, and HMS Trent was dispatched here as well. So that's been another really important part of our work to ensure that we've had medics, engineers and funding and ways to tackle more support through insurances that happen in such natural disasters. We're carrying on working as much as we can as UK government on support for Jamaica. We've also spent more money across the Caribbean region too on funding for hospitals, and we've had very good conversations today actually with the senior team here, including with the chair, about why this sort of investment works. This isn't just funding through Hurricane Melissa response, this is through climate resilience. So we will keep working towards that in the months and years ahead.
Now, the Santa Cruz Health Centre was retrofitted to Smart Gold standard under the UK-funded Smart Hospitals Initiative, with upgrades that include hurricane-rated windows and doors, reinforced roofing and fire safety improvements. And it's time for a break, but stay with us. Our live interview comes up next.
This Christmas, Benjamin's is bringing the flavor and the prizes. Win your share of over $1.5 million in rewards with the Benjamin's Flavor the Holidays promotion. From November 15 to December 29, spend a minimum of $2,000 on any Benjamin holiday bundle
for a chance to win instant prizes, weekly rewards, and grand prize giveaways. Scan the QR code in-store, WhatsApp 876-859-5651, or visit pabenjamin.com to enter.
Bake it, cook it, mix it. Benjamin's will flavor it. Authorized under Section 58 of the Betting Gaming and
Welcome back to CVM News at Noon. Now, since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the Maroon community has been focused on recovery, restoring homes, stabilizing daily life, and supporting families affected by the storm. Now, as they work to rebuild, there are questions about how they've been coping and what progress has been made so far. We're joined now by Moortown Maroon in Portland, Alex Moore Minot. Welcome, Mr. Minot. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Greetings. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Can you tell us what's the relationship like between the Maroon community and the Jamaican state, and how has it shaped the relief and recovery efforts so far?
Well, to be honest with you, the relationship has been a bit rocky, right? Which it has been all over the media. Everyone knows that. However, it is not because of any ill will towards the Jamaican people or the government of Jamaica. It is just because we know that there needs to be a recognition of our unique history and our heritage. The fact of the matter is that we are praying for the day that Jamaica becomes really a space for Jamaicans, by Jamaicans, of Jamaicans. And that would be once the Constitution is amended, well, not amended, but completely changed, actually, in our view. And that would also include us in that change. That is what we are praying for. Because at the end of the day, Jamaica is a colonized space by the British. And Nanny's vision, Nanny of the Maroons, our only female national hero, her vision was a total removal of the oppressive British system and a real Jamaica governed by Jamaicans. However, we have never had any serious issues with the government of Jamaica since 1962. And so because of that, yes, there has been support on the ground. Here in Portland, the MP in East Portland, Mr. Buchanan, has visited the community several times. And he recently left some items with the chief here. I believe a generator and a few other items he left with the chief. So that was good. And we see now going very viral right now the visit of the Honorable Andrew Holness to a compound. And of course, that's raising some questions, but I think it's
what type
all
of
very
questions?
helpful.
What type of
Well,
questions?
you know, if you follow the social media space, you will realize that some people are saying this is a very good thing. And then some people are asking the question, are there ulterior motives from the government of Jamaica concerning the visit? Because of course, Chief Richard Curry has been in the position almost 5 years now. He's due an election in about 2 months. And of course, Prime Minister Holness has not been seen there. But I think that the dialogue is healthy. I think that it's necessary. And I think that now is the time to really work out the kinks. And I commend Prime Minister Holness for his visit. But at the same time, I think that much needs to be discussed in terms of our historic relationship, in terms of what our ancestors fought for, and what that will look like going forward. And I think that some of his statements were a bit premature, but that's just my opinion as a political scientist.
So in terms of damage to the Maroon community, how badly were you affected? What's the biggest agricultural and food storage challenges you've had since Melissa, if any?
Here in Portland, as most people may know, we weren't as badly affected as the West. A compound and Flagstaff, well, rightfully Codgertown, were very, very badly affected, being in St. James and St. Elizabeth, respectively. But we didn't receive the level of damage that they did here in Portland. What I can say, though, is that the agricultural aspect of our community has been completely obliterated. So houses, not so bad. Here in the capital, Moortown, because of course the Rio Grande Valley is our entire, and the Blue and Jankra Mountains is our entire territory. But Moortown is the capital of the Rio Grande Valley, which is in East Portland. And I can say that I think one elder was displaced from his home, but the scale of the damage in terms of the forestry as well as the agriculture are, really bad. So even our medicinal plants have been affected. The animals, the endemic species of animals that are protected in the Blue and Jankra Mountains have also been affected. We're seeing birds.
Yeah. What about some of the schools? What about some of the schools that serve Maroon children?
The school here in Moortown is okay. All is well with the school here in Moortown. Of course, as I said before, the farmers have been affected, and many farmers supply food to the school, right? So we're looking in Portland and of course here at an impending food shortage, actually. So we have just been trying to collectivize to see how we can overcome that, how quickly we can implement cultivation again, that sort of thing. And any help that is out there, it would be really needed at this time.
So on that note, what exactly are the immediate and long-term support that the Maroon community still need to fully recover? And would you say that this strained relationship, which it sounds like a strained relationship between the community and the government, is slowing recovery or has negatively affected recovery so far?
Okay, so in terms of the assistance that may be needed, definitely equipment, definitely infrastructure, because the fact of the matter is that the communities have not developed at the pace that they should have, that was intended by the ancestors. And so now is a wake-up call in terms of modernizing agricultural methods, in terms of food storage, and of course, seed and other genetic material must be stored and protected. In terms of the strained relationship, I don't think that we would say that the government has not looked out for the communities at this time, the Maroon communities and the Maroon Nation, as we call ourselves. I would say, though, that were the relations to be fixed properly and proper legal recognition taking place and proper structures of liaison structures between the government of Jamaica and the Maroon self-governing communities, I think that response could be more rapid and be more far-reaching. So I think that this is a perfect test of that relationship, and it's the perfect test of our mettle as a people in Jamaica to fix the problem.
We're almost out of time, but correct me if I'm wrong. You guys, the Maroon community usually have a celebration that happens